Hello, I'm Beth. Welcome to Mindful Yoga with Yogi Beth C. That's me. I'm also Dr. Beth. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist and a yoga instructor. So today's practice, we are going to revolve and release. Just two poses. The first pose is going to be a twist. We're going to be doing that twist dynamically, and then we're going to hold the spinal twist. And then the second pose is going to be a side lying stretch. So we are going to stretch all around the thoracic spine. That is the area around the ribs. It's the area that lets us twist, that lets us side bend, and that helps with breathing. Hopefully you'll feel more open, more able to breathe at the end of this practice. So you will need a blanket for the second pose, or a few towels, or a firm pillow. A block or a pillow is optional for the first pose, and maybe the second. You'll see how we're going to use those. So we are going to start by coming down to a side lying position. You can start on whatever side you like. I have my block nearby. I have my pillow already set up just in case I wind up wanting the block. So come down to lying on one side. Have your legs bent in any formation that you'd like. They can be stacked like mine are. They can be more out in front of you or more staggered, wherever it is that you feel stable lying on your side. So I have my head on the block. You might, or this is the pillow, you might want something higher than this. You might not need anything at all. Any of those options are fine. Take your bottom arm and extend it. So if you're lying toward me, extend it toward the camera. And then our top arm is going to come over to meet it. So we're in this side lying position, facing forward in our torso. Our legs are placed wherever it helps us to keep stable in the lower body. Then we're going to start to slide the top arm across the body. You can go right up the arm, across the chest, move it toward open to the side. And then when you get there, you can either come back and sort of walk around the top of your head, or you can go back the way you came across the chest. So this is our dynamic movement. We're going to do it a few times that way. I'm going to scooch a little bit toward you since I have the wall behind me. So let's let the top arm slide, reach away, and as you reach away, the opposite shoulder starts to move toward the ground. It doesn't have to touch. And then whenever you get there, you let the top arm, again, it can crawl back over your body, or I also like to rainbow it over the top. So this is kind of a warm-up movement where we're getting our body used to twisting around the thoracic spine, around this rib cage area. We open, take a circle with the arm, move any props out of your way if they're in your way, and come back. We're going to be doing this dynamic movement about 6 times or so. You can certainly choose to do it more if you're really loving how it's feeling for you. And I think this is the last one. If we did 7, that's fine too. Opening, back around. Now the next time out, we're going to hold in the out position. So let's take our arm across and then hold with the arm out. Now you might find that you need to readjust. I like pushing into the bottom arm elbow to twist my body or my chest a little bit more toward the ceiling. Let the top arm open out. Now you might find you like the legs where they were, or maybe you want your legs a little bit more staggered now that we're holding this complete twist for a few breaths. So again, notice that your knees, your hips are pointing in one direction. Around the point of your belly button, your ribs are starting to revolve toward the ceiling, and maybe even go in the upper body with the neck a little bit in the opposite direction for your spinal twist. Wherever you are, let your body relax into gravity. And take a few more mindful breaths, so awareness of the breath in awareness of the breath out. And then after your next exhale, we'll start to come toward the center. So bring your knees up to the ceiling. You might have to recenter your body on the mat. If you're using the pillow or the block under your head, adjust. Take a moment in center. You might be feeling more sensation on one side of the body than the other. And then go the other way, so you'll get to see this from the other side because I'm going to turn away from you for this side. We'll set up exactly the same way, lying on your second side, supporting your head on the block or the pillow if you'd like. And don't forget to arrange your legs however is comfortable. One arm extended, other arm stacked. And then you'll start to drag the top arm across your body, reach it away from you. And as soon as you get to wherever you get, start sliding it in a rainbow over the top. I still keep hitting my block. And back down. And come right again, across your body, out. And the other option we have is to go back in that same way. And you can try that movement of the arm both ways, see how it feels to you. If you like, you can rainbow in each direction. So rainbowing it out and then rainbow back. And I think we have 2 more for 6. I like to inhale as I'm opening and then exhale as I go back. All right, this last one is where we stay. So you take your arm across. You might need to push into the bottom arm to move your chest a little bit more open to the sky. You can keep your legs however they were stacked originally, or if that feels like too much stress or strain anywhere in your lower body, perhaps you unstack them a little bit more or keep one leg bent and one leg straight. The nice thing is that these are the ways that you can customize the pose to your body. We're all in uniquely size-shaped bodies with unique abilities, unique limitations. So we allow ourselves to let our yoga practice fit that. We don't try to fit ourselves into a yoga practice that doesn't work for us. And if we did on the first side, we breathe and stay here. You're breathing into this nice space that you've created across the front body. And you're sensing the twist from your knees, even your pelvis a little pointed to one side, right around the bottom. This is your lumbar spine. Right above the lumbar is where you start to twist, so you can feel the ribs moving in the opposite direction of your knees and your legs. And let's take our last 3 breaths here. Once again, after your next exhale, start to bring your legs back up. You can center yourself on the mat again and pause for a moment. Maybe allow your knees to rest to each other. palms up. Take a brief moment to sense how your body feels. And then either from your forearms or perhaps rolling to one side, help yourself up to a seated position, and we'll prep for our second pose, which is our side lying pose. So here you're going to take your blanket. Blanket is going to be under our side rib. So I have mine folded in a thick-ish rectangle. You might find that that's too thick, or you might find that you want it a little bit thicker, more of a roll. You can even use a bolster, either a rectangular one or a rolled one. You have to experiment to see what works for you. Let's try it this way, or I'll try it this way. And where exactly the roll goes on your ribs is up to you. It might be all the way down at the lower ribs. It might be a little closer to the upper ribs, to your heart, but you do want your armpit to be above the blanket rather than right on it. Just like when we were side lying before, your legs can be on any arrangement that helps support you. I think I might use my block here and the pillow. We'll see how it works, and I'll show you why. And I don't have a second block nearby, but you can use that too, and I'll let you know how. So we'll actually start the same way as before, except with the blanket here. We're going to be in that side lying position. I'm going to have the block as my pillow this time on the low height. I might swap it out for the pillow. So this is our starting point, and it feels a little different. You can see how that feels with your middle part of your spine, your side, your thoracic spine. So you're getting a curve, how that feels. Now there's a lot of options to adjust your comfort as we stay here for a little bit. So the first is where you have your arms and where you have your head. So the head does not have to rest on anything at all. It can come down to the ground, which is going to also give you a stretch in the side of your neck, if that works for you. So that might feel like too much stretch. If it does, you can adjust the bottom arm and place your head in your hands. Or I'm going to take the pillow because I think the block was a little high for me. You can have a pillow or a block or anything else under your head, another blanket. All right, so this feels like a pretty good place for me, for my neck. I'm getting the stretch on my side body here. My head is maybe a little bit lower than my torso, so I'm getting a little bit of side stretch on my neck. And then the last thing we can adjust, I already mentioned the legs, is the top arm. The top arm can simply rest. You can bend it and do kind of a behind your head deal, elbow toward the ceiling. I find this takes some effort to hold it here, but you might feel a nice stretch in the top part of your rib, keeping the arm here. Or you can go completely overhead, and here's where the block can be nice. So if your hand comfortably reaches the ground and you're okay with holding it there, let that be. If it's not comfortable or you just want a little bit more support, a block makes a good support. You can angle it any way that feels comfortable. I know it takes a little bit of adjustment to find your place in this pose. Hopefully you're already there before I got there. And then we hold. And we breathe, of course. Perhaps starting to encourage longer exhales. More release. The exact place of sensation might vary. It's probably going to be somewhere on the top side of your body, really anywhere from the side of your arm through the armpit, the upper ribs, the lower ribs. You might feel it in your side waist, even down to your side hips, glutes, and depending on how you have your leg arranged, maybe all the way down to the outer IT band. If you feel a delicious sensation in one place, that's wonderful. If you feel it all along your side, well, that's a little bit more of a jackpot for you. All right, let's take about 3 more breaths on this side. This is actually a pose where if you need to stretch more on one side than the other, you can stay on one side longer. Same with that first stretch that we did. We use our body unevenly, so you don't have to stay in the poses exactly the same amount of time. If you're ready to transition to side 2, I'm going to use my arms to help myself up. And then for you, you can just flip to the other side. I'm going to move my prop so that the head is in the other direction, just so that I can stay facing you. So remember, we have the blanket roll under our rib cage. Feel free to adjust. Maybe it needs to be a little different on your second side. If you were using the block for your hand or as a pillow for your head, have it there. I'm going to come down. I'm going to find the place under my side ribs where the blanket roll gives me that little bit of a lift. Reach my bottom arm out, or of course it can be underneath you. If you're using the pillow, adjust your head so that it feels comfortable here. And that includes the degree of stretch that you feel along your neck. Adjust your legs. So they can be completely stacked and straight. Just it might feel you're a little bit more on an edge that way. You might not feel as stable. So I like a little bit of staggered of my legs so that I can feel that my body is not going to really roll in one direction or the other. And maybe depending on how you position them, you feel some stretch along the hips, along the side leg. Our last option is our top arm. It can come here. It could stay low, or it can reach overhead using the block somewhere as a bit of rest. And that's really anywhere. So anywhere, you can use more than one block if you'd like something a little higher. I didn't mention this on the first side, but this is basically a yin pose. Yin, there's a pose in yin. It's one of my favorite yin pose names. It's called banana asana. It's a lying on your back crescent pose or side bend. This is basically side banana. Tell all your friends that you did side banana today. I particularly enjoy stretching the side in yoga because I think it's not a shape we go into naturally. We do twist in our everyday lives. We do bend forward and back. But in terms of stretching laterally to the sides like this, we don't necessarily do a lot of activities that take us naturally in this direction. And yet a healthy spine can move in this direction. So we want to keep our ability to be able to do that. And the other bonus is that we stretch out along the side ribs, and we have all these little breathing muscles in between our ribs. They're called our intercostals. Keeping them stretched and supple helps us be able to access smooth breathing. You might notice that as we hold this pose a little bit longer. Can you access smooth, comfortable breaths, particularly noticing the breath on the side that you're stretching, the side that's more toward the ceiling. Can you allow your exhales to be a little longer than your inhales to help encourage your body to release? Encourage that softening, that melting. Those are principles of a yin yoga practice. Let's stay in this last pose for about 3 more breaths. And once again, be gentle as you start to move your body out of it, using your hands to help you move up to a seated position. Nice little seat on the edge of my blanket. If you want, you can take a few seated cat-cows here. Just being aware, how does your spine feel now? That was today's short yoga practice. I hope you enjoyed it. Please comment below to let me know if you enjoyed this. Let me know what you would like to see more of on my channel. You can sample some of the other things I have to offer. I hope you'll be back, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.